on Shorts, I think it was yesterday, and not much shocks me, but there was a story of a woman, her name was Trudy, who was paralysed because of domestic violence. You know, and look, you hear the similar stories all over, you know, but this one in particular stood out for me. And I'm trying to put my finger on it, but I think she was being interviewed by the police while she was paralysed from the neck down, and all she could do was nod her head, yes or no, and using her eyes as well. And the police officer was asking her questions. By the way, the link is in my playlist. Yeah. So as the police officer is asking her questions, apparently the husband had said, oh, they were just play fighting. And I think what triggered me to get really angry about that was, and I mean, I myself have been through family violence and have people that have gone through, you know, domestic violence, but this one stood out. And I think I felt like the husband was grasping at straws. And I was just like, are you serious, dude? Like, did you really say that? Like, who's going to believe that? So I went on this big rant because I can be a bit of a social justice warrior. So, gets me in trouble sometimes. However, what I was explaining in my reply to somebody who was being was discriminating against women in particular on this post, and I just felt like I had to respond, so I did. And I said, where's the responsibility? Because we all think it doesn't happen to us, or it doesn't happen to people around us, or whatnot, and that's so untrue. Like, we have no idea what goes on behind closed doors. But if we did, then I believe that that person is responsible as well, just like the criminal is. But I think we're all scratching it around trying to find a solution to this, and the only thing that has ever made sense to me is making our young men and our fathers and brothers and uncles and cousins stand up for women and teach the next generation coming through to respect women. And then I went on a rant about how much women have to put up with in terms of not only their physical health, but their mental health as well. Things like menopause and periods and, you know, childbirth and raising families and having a career and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I kind of compared it against any male. And I just thought, and you have the gall to add on physical abuse, mental abuse, coercive and controlling behaviour, financial abuse, and wrap that up in a little bit of trauma, and you've got a little package. But this poor woman let's go back to Trudy, is paralysed from the chest down, and she only has slight movement in her hands. She cannot move her arms, I'm pretty sure. So she now lives in a special care facility, which is monitored 24/7. for her safety, because she cannot function on her own. She cannot get dressed, and I think she can just feed herself, but yeah, it's not sustainable, so she does need that care. Now, my issue with this is this poor lady has been sentenced to this for the rest of her life. This guy named Robert Eason, and he's a mean looking fella. You can see that in my playlist. He got 16 years in prison. Just think about that for a sec. I think it's another reason why I was upset. How can that judge sit there and hand down that sentence when Trudy has a life sentence? He deserved a life sentence for that. Let me know if you agree. And look up Trudy Burgess and Robert Eason. E-A-S-O-M, I believe his last name is spelled. But yeah, again, the actual video is on my page in my playlist, so you can go and have a look there. So let me know your thoughts. You know, was I being a bit harsh, or, you know, do you agree with me? Do you have any other solutions? Let me know. Peace.